Hey y'all, I know it's been a minute since I made my last video, but this video was going to be a little bit different than the regular videos that I make anyways, as this video will be featuring something that I thought about doing for quite a while, which is adding things to verses and basically putting them in battles and seeing how they would go. For this video, we'll be using Naruto's systematic systems of giving capabilities. Basically, I really do like adding Naruto concepts to other characters from other series and seeing how they would fare with those additional abilities. So for this video, we're going to be doing if Deku had the Rinnegan, Midoriya Izuku, if you didn't know his real name from My Hero Academia, and we're going to be using Tanjiro Kamado from Demon Slayer with giving him the Sharingan to see how that would play out and just see who would win, who if they had these abilities added to them, and see how big of a deal it could really be if these things were done. So let's just get into the video right now so we don't wait too long. So yeah. So automatically, if Tanjiro has a Sharingan, he's a lot stronger than he normally would be. Obviously, he's still a Demon Slayer, so he would still have the same things he already has, which is he's sun breathing, water breathing, all those great things, and swordsmanship in his training. That would also be a thing. He would just have the Sharingan. Now, for this video in particular, I know it's kind of interesting, but I'm just going to do the most obvious thing humanly possible, which is, I guess you're wondering, am I giving him, what type of Sharingan am I giving him, because there's so many different ones to choose from. Obviously, the maximum of potential a basic Sharingan can reach is Mangekyo, or so it's kind of the question if I want to give him an internal Mangekyo, and if I do, what kind of Sharingan abilities am I giving him in the first place? Well, obviously, I want to make it as fair as possible, which I honestly think the only way to make this truly fair is if I did give him an Eternal, and I honestly just gave him Sasuke Sharingan. I just feel like that would make it a lot more obvious. Now, in any battle where I honestly think Deku has the Rinnegan with all his basic powers already, including One for All and all the abilities that One for All grants him, I think Deku kind of stomps, so that's kind of why I'm just doing this, for the sake of giving him Sasuke's Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, because that just kind of sounds a lot more interesting. That would give him the Susanoo and all the abilities and whatnot that you can honestly get from the Sharingan, including Genjutsu and all that good stuff. So assuming that Tanjiro has the Mangekyo Sharingan, Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan to be specific, it would give him the ability to do way more than what he could do before prior to just having sun breathing and just water breathing and just being a good swordsman, even with Demon Slayer marks and whatnot. So that gives him the ability to use Genjutsu, Amaterasu, control Amaterasu, and it also gives him the ability to just do all those things. Well, a lot of people would probably just say at this point, well, he can control Amaterasu and he can use the Eternal Flames to just kind of beat, beat Deku at this point. Well, it's not that easy. The Rinnegan can absorb energy, so overall that wouldn't work on him specifically. And overall, this battle doesn't become null and void just because powers are brought into it. So basically what Deku can do now, if you're curious and you don't really understand what the Rinnegan is he has the power to take souls. He has the power to use Almighty Push. He has the power to do all those crazy cool things with his Rinnegan, which is pretty good and cool. All good things. He allows him to absorb energy and whatnot. It allows him to, just do all those things. And all those things are very difficult to get over. It also allows him to use Planetary Devastation as well, which is a good move. That allows him to send a giant rock hurtling directly towards his enemies. Okay, so there's also another thing to go along with that, and that is just the simple fact that also Deku will now also gain the ability to be able to copy any moves or better yet jutsu that Tanjiro can use. For this battle, obviously they won't have any jutsu, so that really won't help, but it would probably help him learn his fighting styles a lot faster. Considering, just to be more specific, I'm giving Deku 2 Rinnegan because I just feel like that's fair to give, if I'm giving him 2 Eternal, to give him that. So the big difference for this battle, and really what, just to get right to the point of where is this battle really difficult to call, and that's if Deku with his quirk and his powers is capable of getting to or through the Susanoo. If that's even something that he can do, since he's using Sasuke Sharingan and has Amaterasu, and since Deku can stop Amaterasu, is Tanjiro even capable of killing Deku, or is it just some stalemate? Well, to be frankly honest, it's not stalemate, and obviously the Rinnegan in Deku's hands is a very powerful tool. There's a lot of different things he can do with it. He can bring me back to life. Like I said, he can absorb energy, air repulse, and all that good stuff. Attract, retract. He can do all that cool stuff, and and all that's really good. And he can copy jutsu. He has a higher visual perception and all that good stuff. It would still be very difficult for him to end somebody like Tanjiro, just for the simple fact that Tanjiro would have the Susanoo now. He would have increased vision, and he would also be able to cast genjutsus. So let's talk about just that for a quick second. Deku wouldn't know just as much as, you know, Tanjiro wouldn't know that at this point he can do any of these things with Rinnegan. So with those things being said, it's very possible that in a battle, considering that the Rinnegan, you know, doesn't really give genjutsu. I mean, clearly it can make it if he has a sharp Rinnegan, but he doesn't have a sharp Rinnegan. He just has the Rinnegan itself, so he's not really going crazy with genjutsus. So basically, it would be a lot easier for, I'm just pointing this out, for Tanjiro to get a genjutsu on Deku and kill him without him really even knowing it, especially using like sun breathing or like water breathing. It wouldn't really be that hard. Deku isn't durable to the point where he could survive like an attack from Tanjiro straight up. And then even if he couldn't kill him with like a sun breathing attack or a water breathing attack, he could easily kill him with like something along the lines of, you know, just basic old fashioned Susanoo. He could just kill him with a Susanoo, which would be more than capable of finishing him off. This is not even including the fact that if Deku doesn't do something about Amaterasu soon enough and say he really does fall into his genjutsu, he could easily be killed. And considering that Deku isn't going to be doing that too much, then I don't really think, you know, it's that big a deal. Now, since Deku or Tanjiro, since Tanjiro's abilities include genjutsu, he would know about it, but Deku wouldn't. So it would automatically be a very easy win con for him to just use genjutsu and surprise him, considering that's one of the Sharingan specialties. Assuming he doesn't use genjutsu though, it just can go on for quite a while before you even determine who a victor is, and a lot of it can be left up to chance. For example, what like Tanjiro's like chakra reserve, but they just run out of you know, using his Susanoo and his maternal Mangekyo, while on the other hand Deku's Rinnegan wouldn't do that for all its crazy cool abilities that he possesses. So I mean, there's that. But then you also have to look at another thing. What could Deku do to Tanjiro to kill him is much easier than anything Tanjiro could do to protect himself from Deku, unless he were to trick him and then kill him. It's kind of the same fight, it's just with these abilities added, and the abilities do make it much tougher to pull off the execution that in other obvious battle Deku could easily take normally head on and win. Well, in this case, he has danger sense, his super strength, he still has you know, black whip, and you know, he can float. But I mean, you know, that's all cool and whatnot. He can you know, summon the animal paths and all that. But that doesn't really affect anything. With the Susanoo, he'd be more than capable of handling the animal paths. With the Susanoo, he'd be more than capable of handling his super strength. With the Susanoo, he'd be more than capable of, and it's not like he can't just cast Amaterasu at will, and control it, which is very difficult for him to overcome, despite even having like, if he slips up one time and gets hit with like, I don't know, like, oh, you know, Amaterasu arrow, and you know, obviously he can absorb it before it gets there, but say he doesn't, you know, have the ability to. For example, he could easily just like use sun breathing and like put Amaterasu on his sword and come at Midoriya with the black flames, which I want to make this very clear. I'm pretty sure Deku, with all his intelligence, would be smart enough to like use his Rinnegan to like, you know, absorb that and stop that from happening. But it's also a very good possibility that he doesn't know what the black flames do, obviously, and he gets cut by it, and he has a pretty good chance of dying, especially if Tanjiro's busting out some crazy breathing form, and could easily kill him. With that being said, that also being said, is it even possible for him to even handle his Susanoo? Like, I mean, he could give it a good run for its money, but assuming that he's not using just like the regular basic Susanoo that just like, you know, can't walk or anything, he uses the Eternal Mangekyo, which overall increases the Susanoo abilities, meaning it would be like the regular one that Sasuke had before he unlocked Rinnegan, which allowed his Susanoo to just be able to fly instead of just being stuck to the ground or, you know, unable to walk. Well, that would also include that for him, and he would also have Amaterasu, which is just really difficult for Deku to overall overcome, especially with his breathing force. Now, it is also very important to keep this in mind that Deku would be way faster than Tanjiro, even with his breathing forms. But assuming Tanjiro, you know, can catch him slipping, he could overwhelm him with the Black Flames, if nothing else, especially with the control of them. We've seen, Sasuke's control of his Black Flames, and it's very possible that could happen. This is not even including the fact that Tanjiro would also have the ability to use the ribcage of the Susanoo to protect himself from damage and whatnot, which is very, troublesome, especially when he can attach the Black Flames to it as well, which would also be very difficult. What I'm saying is, it would be very difficult for Deku to use his normal quirks against the Susanoo, despite all the powers he would have. And like I said, it would take a while before he could snatch a soul, say the soul of Tanjiro or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So it wouldn't just be that easy of a win-con. It also wouldn't be that easy, despite having the ability to reject and move him as well, as it wouldn't be that easy to defeat the Susanoo, obviously, with all the power it possesses. So overall, the winner of this battle to me is Tanjiro. I've been kind of leaning to that this entire video. If you haven't obviously figured that out, Tanjiro just has more. And this isn't to quote unquote say Deku can't obviously win, because he has the Rinnegan that's even more power for him than his regular. But the problem is there's just too many instances where Sharingan, Eternal Monk Sharingan, Mangekyo Sharingan, Tanjiro could just take advantage of Deku in ways she's not ready for. Plus his Genjutsu, his Susanoo, his own Demon Slayer attacks. Overall, this isn't to nerf Deku either, as I'm fully aware Deku, has more than just Black Whip Float and even his Danger Sense, which to a point you can even argue could knock him out of the Genjutsu. But if he's using something really good Genjutsu, Tsukuyomi, then it's very possible that that's not the case. And with the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, it would be nothing for him to cast that. So, I just really don't think he has a chance at that point. And then even then, looking at his regular abilities, there's nothing that really helps him beat, the Susanoo. And none of the Rinnegan abilities. It allows him to wage war for sure, but it's still going to be very difficult for him to get past just the two things that the Sharingan really give him, and Genjutsu as well. This is also not to say this as well, but he would have a lot of easier time reading his movements, and probably would even have an easier time beating him, honestly, with the Sharingan, as well as I'm not saying that the visual prowess that he gets from the Sharingan isn't obviously great or anything, but Deku would still be way faster. But with the Sharingan and his ability to use Demon Slayer marks and even use the Clear World or whatever to hit precise attack or whatever, you could make a very good case that one slash from Tanjiro could kill Deku instantly, if possible. If he could easily just get to that attack, and then that's kind of the fight. Which, to me, I think that's not even really an argument. I think that's a fact, and I think it's a really good fact, and that is something that could easily happen, considering Deku overall will still have no protection from the Rinnegan. The Rinnegan just gives him a lot of really cool abilities. It increases his jutsu. It also be planetary resistance. Like I said, all these cool things are very good and whatnot for Deku, and I feel like he's smart enough to use it to the greatest abilities that he is allowed. Well, obviously capable of using it to. It's just that despite all this, Tanjiro would just be more on the offensive with his, and he would have more tricks up his sleeve that he could use to overall beat Deku. So, yeah, I think Tanjiro is the winner. But you can make a case for Deku too. I'd say 80% of the time, Tanjiro would probably win. Just the Susanoo. Now, like I said, it's always how much chakra does Tanjiro really have? If he doesn't have that much, to really be running Susanoo as consistently as he would have to be kind of doing to even match Deku's physical strength, because Amaterasu and Susanoo are why he wins this. So say he doesn't have a lot of chakra reserves, which I don't know how much he would have anyways, but I don't also know how much Deku would have either. So obviously he's able to take the energy from Amaterasu, and I'm not saying this is still not something that could happen, which you would think it would nullify it, but he would still have to be Deku is not durable enough to survive the Susanoo attacks, and I'm not saying that Deku's attacks are strong enough to beat somebody like Tanjiro. It's just that he's not going to be hitting Tanjiro because he'll have Susanoo to protect him from damage most of the time. So as long as he can cast Susanoo and Amaterasu, it will keep Deku from just straight up trying to just bash him to death. And it will also keep him at bay. This is also still not including Tsukuyomi as a Genjutsu that is capable for him to be of use, since he has Eternal Mangekyo and just all that good stuff. So overall, Deku loses, Tanjiro wins, and that has been the video. Thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to watch this. And yeah, thank you for 3,720 subscribers. Thank you for that. And I'll catch y'all in the next video. As always, next time, deuces. If y'all are enjoying the content, please be sure to hit the red subscribe button. Thanks.